right, David Crum first in the house tonight. Hey man, welcome back to Live Shop Talk. Sunday, getting ready to rock it here. Everything in the two-wheeled world that we can get our hands on, we're bringing to you live here tonight on Shop Talk. Good to be with you guys. Lots to talk about. What a crazy trip we've been on. It's going to be nuts. Big B in the house. Steve Henderson with us. Mike Draco, what's up, buddy? Lots of stuff. Man, we were all over the place. I felt like I was living the Johnny Cash song. But we're back 50 floors below the street level, getting ready to rock and roll. Stick around 3.5 minutes. We're going live with Shop Talk. Rob Doer says he's back. Courtney Lighton, can't wait. Neither can we. Hey, you know, we say this stuff all the time, but it really is our favorite time of the week when we get to do Shop Talk, and super excited to be back in the studio, and we're live with Mark. You guys are going to get your full dose of Mark tonight. I'm so excited. And you should be too, because we're going live with Shop Talk, including Mark, in just 3 minutes. So stick around for us and for Mark. Oh, there's my buddy Jeremy Valentine, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Mike Draco representing Cincinnati. Yeah, Mark. Yeah, listen, like Mike Draco says, tell us where you're at so we can give you a shout out. We love seeing all the different places people are from watching Shop Talk. And hey, while we're talking about that, you can do your part to get Shop Talk out further and further as the weeks, months, and years go on. Hit the like and share button. Make sure you're set up for alerts so that when we go, I totally blew that one. So when we go live, you'll know. I was so excited because I saw Miss Lisa Ballard in the house, Denny Reed from California, Nancy Weems, Tampa, Florida, Rob Doer, Pawley Island, South Carolina, a place we're seriously considering over and over again. South Carolina would be Heather's new home where she could run away from snow forever. 1 minute 48, we're going live with this one. Grab a drink, kick back, relax, get ready for Shop Talk in 1.5 minutes. Sean Fredrickson, I don't have a bike, but hell yeah, I sure do want one. Hey man, you're our favorite kind of person. There's about 532,000 bike builders in and around this show watching tonight. Just talk about what you want. I'm sure somebody gets you hooked up quick. Rob Nussbaum in the house. Everybody straighten up. Our associate producer is watching from afar. In the minute countdown, Mike Robb, New Jersey. I think I pronounced that right. I've been going to the jack shit elocution school. Beautiful Jack and his lovely bride Diane put us up here for a little bit while we were in Arizona. I can't thank them enough. And man, they absolutely have a palace. I would never want to leave there. Ass Prod. That's right. Rob Nussbaum is the Ass Prod. All right. We're getting down low. 25 seconds now. I guess it's time to get this one out of the station and up onto the tracks and go live with this week's installment of your favorite motorcycle news and information show, Shop Talk. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It's just after 9 p.m. Actually, just after. I mean, 2 minutes after. It's the closest we've been to a live show, and I can't even tell you how long. Hey, I'm your host, Chris Callen with Cycle Source Magazine, and you are watching Shop Talk. Every Sunday we go live with Shop Talk in and about 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and it's 90 to 120 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit from the two-wheeled world, and we invite you to participate. Don't just sit back and be a passive observer of what goes on here. Get involved over here. You can enter your comments, questions, concerns, and we'll try to get to them throughout the show. Tonight especially, this is a special show. Before we talk too much about that, I'm going to bring the crew in. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Hey.
As promised, there's Mark live.
Been a minute. Buckle up, Grandma. I'm pissy. It's been a long time.
Oh, Mark, how we miss you.
That's how you start a show right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Got a lot to get off my chest.
So tonight is going to be a special show. We've been hitting you guys with different stuff, pre-recorded, on-the-scene stuff, and tonight is going to be another different kind of show. And we decided we're going to do these every once in a while. We just do like a Shop Talk State of the Union. Where are we at? What are we doing? We just had a hell of a trip. You haven't...
So... In Chris terms, an hour-long BS session.
Right?
Sounds like fun.
How awesome is
right?
that? Plus, I want to get to catch up with Mark.
That usually turns out to hurt a few people's feelings. So, let's go.
Rob says my audio is echoing.
Your audio is echoing.
Stop it.
Okay, we'll work on that as we go here. Let me see.
Flannel earplug.
Oh.
How about that?
Rob, I think I have it fixed, so we'll see now.
Hey, does that work? Better?
Mike Draco says fixed.
Oh.
I don't know if I could have stayed quiet for a whole hour.
Well, I don't want to make any comments or get me in trouble later on, because we've been having such a good time. Like, we really have. We've been out on the road and...
you meant... Oh, I got you now.
Yeah. Hey, and don't you help me get in any trouble either.
Good at that. Well, I'll pass the buck like nobody's business.
But we've been having a hell of a time, man. We actually, you guys who have been following us, we went to Daytona a week or so early for Daytona. Got to Daytona, did everything that we did in Daytona, came home for what was, it seemed like 3 days. And
I think we were home for 4 days, maybe 5.
8, long enough to ruin my life. They were home just long enough to completely piss me off.
Rob Nussbaum, you shut your mouth. Flannel season is never over. It is never out of style to wear flannel.
What is wrong? Cook would be so upset with him right now.
Our buddy Cook uses flannel as swimwear accessories,
dude,
so you shut your mouth.
He has a holidays flannel and...
No.
So we're going to talk about all that. From after Daytona, we stopped here for a minute. We went to Donnie Smith. We went down to Texas Fandango. We went out to Arizona Bike Week, including the FXR Friends Throwdown, and then all the way back to St. Louis. We're going to talk about a bunch of that stuff, but mostly we want to talk to you guys about all of the stuff that we saw, the things that are going on. We're going to talk about Jeremy Valentine put up, congratulations, Clinton Wallace. I am hardly going to be able to contain myself in the weeks to come to tell you guys all of the fantastic builders that we got for the Legacy Invitational. I am so proud of that, and mostly because it's really like I'm getting the reassurance from everybody that this is the right thing to do. Everybody's really excited. We announced today that OG Billy Lane with invited Legacy Xavier Muriel. So. That's 2 more, and I know who the rest of them are, and it's going to blow your mind. And I wish I could just say it all here right now because it's. I know.
I'm surprised. Like usually it's that you haven't just told the whole world, because usually it's like telephone, telegraph, telechris, because you get so excited. You're like, I have to tell everybody this. So the fact that you're slowly letting this information out is amazing.
Well, I'm doing my best.
Well, I think it's super cool because you have all the original guys, the OGs, like you said, coming in there now. This is a rebirth of the Smokeout and possibly a rebirth of a group of these guys being the next group to make a big impression.
Hey,
so
speaking of that, while we're on this show and we're talking about the Legacy Invitational, let me bring up some stuff and show you guys while we're talking about this. But it was brought to my attention that of the OGs that we were considering, would we consider Dwayne Ballard? And, I have to admit, it was a total oversight on my part that I didn't think of Dwayne, because Dwayne actually launched or unveiled, however you want to say it, Funkenstein at Smokeout in Salisbury.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this publicly. I don't know how you guys would make it work, or if you could, or if you wanted to, but Lisa, we would love to have Dwayne as an OG builder. And if he wants to be involved in that, get in touch with us tomorrow. We'll talk about it. But
and just to have him back in that mix,
it'd be badass. It'd be badass. Like that was all of that stuff. If you guys are wondering, there's a lot of people out there. I hear the chatter of what's this smokeout and what's this smokeout. Like, for a lot of us, Smokeout really was the foundation. I mean, it was the Horse Magazine and Biker Build-Offs and like some of the biggest names in choppers, like Jeff and Donnie, and everything that was Sucker Punch Sally, like, just blew up out of that. So for us, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and just the memories. I mean, it was almost
what you can remember.
Yeah, almost a lifetime. I remember the Super Soaker filled with whiskey.
That like really shocked people when they realized it was actually whiskey too.
Oh my God!
One of the things that I liked, because I don't know the smokeout history. I had never been to one before. I've just heard tales of it. But Steve Burrows wrote an article for the issue that we just went to print with. And it was basically how smokeout changed a lot of the course of custom motorcycles, because
absolutely.
A lot of people launched new things there, and they got new ideas, and they shared and they talked and they saw what everybody else was doing. And
well, and Big D just said, Dennis says, I missed a horse. And listen, we do too. Yeah. Because even though Cycle Source had been printing for years before we got onto the whole horse and smokeout thing, that was our magazine too. You think about it, in a time where almost everybody was obsessed with $1 million choppers, and everything was high dollar, and the horse came along,
was still our culture,
and kept us all grounded. And made it so it was a really, really special time, and if we can get even a little piece of that back, that's awesome. So
I think that's what the smokeout's entailing in the long run, is it's gonna bring a piece of that back, especially to us older guys, because this smokeout's going to be what you make it, not what what we're all making it. Your memories are going to be from what you bring back there, and obviously, if you can bring memories from before, relive them. That's the whole point of this. Educate.
So, Heather, Mike Draco wants you to finish what you were saying. And this is my life right here.
About how you guys took over, because again, you guys have been there, just about how I'm looking forward to seeing if the smokeout rebirth will have the same effect on the custom industry again, because we are going to have the legends and the legacies there. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that turns out, and I think you're opening the door to a lot of new things as well. Like, I know you're going to have, you've talked about doing an FXR and Dyna show. Yeah. Aside from, the standard chopper show and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what goes on with that and how it evolves.
Well, and we've said this over and over again. We're not trying to change smokeout, but undeniably, like, look, one of the things that we said, this is going to be Smokeout 22. Yeah. So literally, we're going into our third generation of smokeout attendees. So, some of it, there's going to have to be some inclusions and stuff that bring in what everybody's doing today too. But the core of it, I mean, right at the gate, and Mark loves it when I say this shit, but right at the gate, we're going to have a sign that says, hey, look, if toxic masculinity offends you, please do not enter this event. Home. Yeah. Because that it is what it is, man. And we're not going to bend it. We're not going to bend it to be somebody else's picture of what the world looks like today. It's going to be smokeout.
I think I'm sort of looking forward to, most of all, getting the majority of that group back in the same area again, but also to see how some of these people have progressed. Yeah. Like to see the old pictures lined up with, and remembering the old smokeouts, and seeing these guys all come to bat again is going to be pretty cool. Especially the legacy thing, and now these guys are all bringing not in most cases a youth, but a younger new guy into the picture, which some of them aren't new. In all reality, they've been around. They just
never been to smokeout.
Yeah, never been to the smokeout.
Well, and on top of that, being able to say that we're going to have Billy Lane, Paul Cox, Donnie Luce,
look, you're letting the cat out of the bag. It wasn't me. I want to be on the record right now that it wasn't
Son of
me.
a biscuit eater.
oh,
Still.
shit.
But again, if you're planning on, like Heather's saying, if you're planning on coming to the smokeout, plan on, almost everybody that was there is excited to come back. So you should be ready to see all those people and see what they're going to bring to the table. And,
I didn't say any of the legacies though, so
that was the thought to kind of,
Well, listen, let's back up for 1 second, because if some of you are not aware of what we're talking about with the Smokeout Legacy Invitational, what we actually did was we circled some builders that to us were the OGs, the original gangsters of Smokeout, and made an invitation to them, but at the same time asked them to make an invitation. So every OG is going to have a legacy. And like Mark just said, that's either somebody that's new to building or has never been a builder at Smokeout. So our first guy was Jeff Cochran. His legacy is Clinton Wallace. Both of them incredible builders. I think Clinton has claimed as much inspiration from Jeff Cochran as anyone, and is over the moon that he gets to come in under his invitation. Our second one just today was Billy Lane and Xavier. Again, Xavier's been almost in a mentorship with Billy, and is thrilled. And this is how it's going to be. Like every one of these guys, I'm continuing to be surprised every time that they make one of their picks that they're actually treating it just like that. They're treating it like they're turning it down. Yeah, man, it's so awesome. It's so good.
And I think the cool part about it, on top of the rest of that, is like you'd said, Jeff with Clinton. Clinton looks up to Jeff, but Clinton's got such his own style already that it's just nuts. And he already, before being brought into something as big as this, he's already flipped his style and proved he can do a whole nother style. So just to see what everybody's going to bring to the table is, and then on top of every silly smokeout antic, and it's going to be fun.
Jim Fletcher, we might actually steal that quote for a T-shirt for the Smokeout. He says, "Check your morals and your panties at the gate. What happens at Smokeout stays at Smokeout." Yeah, baby.
Dude, and seriously, can't emphasize enough, if you have...
I have to apologize to my mother in advance.
I mean, if you have a light skin, or thin skin, don't come.
Oh, man.
It's not going to work out.
I get to stay home?
No, you don't. Because we need a ringleader.
You can pretend there's thin skin there all you want. You're alligatored up already, so it's over for you.
Oh,
That's it.
I don't know. I'm losing some of that with my old age, that's for sure.
Well, hey, look, man, you're watching Shop Talk here from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. We appreciate you guys coming along the ride with us every Sunday at 9 p.m. We are going to go to our first segment. We always say this, that Shop Talk's 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit. We usually start off with a little program we call the news. The Shop Talk World Report is brought to you by Law Tigers. Get the compensation you deserve and get back on the road with Law Tigers. First up in the news tonight, and this in from Harley Davidson, the new Nightster models start a new chapter in the Sportster motorcycle story. New liquid-cooled Revolution Max 975T powertrain tuned for muscular torque. 2022 Harley-Davidson Nightster models start a new chapter in the Harley-Davidson Sportster motorcycle story, a leap forward in performance and design while remaining an accessible entry point to motorcycling and the brand. There's a couple things here that I want to talk about. The entry point thing is kind of hard because of the price point. I'd kind of argue that. Now, listen, I'm going to say right off the bat, I would own this motorcycle. It's not what you expect in a Sportster. It's definitely a complete departure from that, but it's super badass.
It reminds me of Sportster meets V-Rod.
It is a little bit. I mean, for me, and like I said, I'm telling you, I would own this motorcycle, but the motor looks like. Remember when we had the Robbie the Robot that was like an FM FM radio you
Oh, yeah.
got for Christmas. It looks like two of those fighting over an Apple iWatch. But I'm telling you, I would own this motorcycle.
You looked at that way too long.
I did. But see what I'm saying? Like at the base MSRP $13,499, that's still,
Yeah.
I
It's
still
up
feel
there.
like there needs to be a real entry-level motorcycle for Harley Davidson. But, you know, that's the picture they're painting about it. What I don't understand, and I'm waiting because we actually have an operative that's going to ride this motorcycle. Chip is actually going out to check this out for us. They talk about the power and the torque, and then when it gets down, where did it say about the let me get to it for a second, because it talks about a flat torque curve. Yeah, here it is. So 60-degree V-twin with a torque curve that stays flat through the broad power band. Engine performance designed to deliver strong acceleration. Now, just like the other Revolutions, it has the whole host of complementary gadgetry that, you know, you can set it for different ride styles and everything in different conditions. But that part, I want somebody that's actually a motorhead to explain to me where is Kevin Baxter right now.
I was
Explain
just
to
going to
me.
say you need to get Kevin.
Explain to me how a flat torque curve through the broad power band.
Yeah, it works.
I want to know what's up with that. But it's, you know, it's really exciting that they're already moving on to new motor designs based on this new family, based on the Revolution. So that part of it's kind of cool. We'll have a full report for you guys, you know, videos, live reports, all kind of stuff as Chip gets in place and starts checking these things out.
I know, and he's a writer, so he'll be on. I mean, he's a writer and a writer, so he's gonna give us some really good reports. I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. Like Lawrence, Harley should have built this Sportster decades ago. I totally believe that that's right. But Jeremy Valentine backs me up and says 100% the motor company needs an entry-level ride.
Oh, they need it for sure.
And I don't believe, like I've been on the record of saying this, I don't believe the street is that bike. You know, the street for Harley Davidson is the equivalent of how we all used to see the Buell Blast. It's just like, you know, okay, for everybody that would like to have a Harley, here's what you can have until you get one, you know. Moving on to the next piece of news. This comes in from the AMA, and it turns out Arizona legalizes lane filtering, they're calling it.
Excuse me.
While Utah extends law for an additional 5 years. Arizona Governor Dov Ducey has signed a... That almost sounds like a porn name.
Hello.
I just got to say that.
I wonder if that guy got a mustache. We got a picture?
We're going to talk about mustaches and Hawaiian shirts later. Has signed a law legalizing lane filtering after the bill cruised through both Senate and House chambers with strong bipartisan support. The law now puts the state in the company of Utah and Montana. So good for them. Big round of applause.
Nothing like a nice lane filtering.
I don't know. Lane filtering, that kind of... There's so much to say there.
Yeah.
Good job, Ducey.
Yeah, right.
Hey, here's one of those feel-good stories Heather likes to put in the news. 102-year-old motorcycle mama in Dayton, Nevada celebrates her birthday on a Harley.
Nice.
Amen. Good for her.
Yeah, right on. 102-year-old Northern Nevada woman known locally as Motorcycle Mama celebrate. And listen, 102 years ago, that shit meant something,
right?
boy.
You're not kidding.
Right?
Biatch.
Velma Thornburg's daughter organized the trek on US 50 east of Carson City with a local motorcycle club and sent her out with a club with a nickname like Motorcycle Mama.
Yeah, wow.
Jeez. Boy, she's like, look, 102 years is enough. We got to get this old lady out of here.
Hey.
Born April 10th, 1920, Thornburg of Dayton used to ride with her father when she was young. Her 77-year-old daughter, Sandra Bell, said her mother traditionally made an annual trip on her birthday until recent years due to COVID-19. Her wish was to go on one more trip this year, and she ended up feeling like she was queen of the day. Good for her, man.
That's so awesome.
That's
so awesome.
Well, I said earlier, buckle up, Grandma. It's going to be a rough ride.
Right?
And here I am.
Years old.
Here I am
on a
thinking that
bike.
you don't actually read the news briefs.
I'm the king of wing.
Jim Fletcher, Who Wants Mustache Rides? Best movie line of the whole movie.
Yes, sir.
Ah, Jesus.
Getting
Wow, there's a
off
little
track.
shot from Drew Woodford. COVID Dougie finally got something right.
Tom Banks, Florida is uptight as far as lane splitting. Tom, how many tickets have you got for that in the past couple times you've been to Florida?
You know why? Because you're not lane filtering.
That's
need to
it.
filter.
You need to filter,
Tom,
Tom.
That's
filter.
it.
Don't.
If he
That's
says
at
I
a-
wasn't splitting, sir,
Yeah,
I
I was
filtered.
filtering that lanes, officer. You got to come at it with a different
This
approach.
show is going downhill really quick if you're reading the comments.
All right, let's move on to another news story. Harley Davidson releases limited edition tea to benefit humanitarian relief efforts for Ukraine with the United Way. Harley Davidson releases HD for Ukraine, a limited edition tea in collaboration with United Way worldwide to benefit humanitarian relief efforts for Ukraine. Limited edition tea in collaboration with United Way benefit you. What this is just like over and over again.
Yeah.
Let me get to the good part. For each tea sold through June 15th, USD $26 will benefit United Way Worldwide's United for Ukraine Fund, which is providing assistance in the form of transportation, shelter, food, medicine, and critical childcare supplies to support those in crisis. In addition, the Harley-Davidson Foundation has donated $50,000 to the United for Ukraine Fund. This program was conceived by Harley-Davidson employees who wanted to find a way to give back and show support for relief efforts in Ukraine. The tee was designed by employees and features the colors of the Ukrainian flag across the iconic Harley-Davidson logo on the chest. On back of the tee, United We Ride is featured and epitomizes the spirit of Harley-Davidson rallying together to help when needed. Good for them, man.
Yeah.
This is we talked about this, Mark. I think it was during our live show from Arizona. You don't realize when you start talking about this stuff, Ukraine, like as it comes through the news and stuff, it seems like it's a million miles away.
Oh, no, not far.
And all of a sudden, we know people
Yep.
that are literally involved in this, that have family, that have friends, people that have come from there. One of our artists from the Thankful thing for Smokeout, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, she's a sweetheart. She actually reached out to us when she saw what we were doing with Tankful, and she wanted to help our community and asked if she could donate a tank. And then just weeks later, her entire life has been turned upside down. It's
Yeah.
a very small world.
It is. And somebody needs to step in and help those poor people. And we can't, God, let's not get into that because it can get brutal.
Yeah.
Well, and even to stay away from the political part of it or the
Yeah.
war or anything, whatever humanitarian efforts that are going on that you can,
Do to help.
get
please.
involved in that stuff, because that to see the atrocities that are going on there, it's rough. It really is. Our heart goes out to everybody there.
It's I think almost unfathomable
Yeah,
for
and this time,
for us.
Yeah, in this time in the world itself, unbelievable that something like this could still happen.
Well,
Anyway, go buy a T-shirt.
Yep, there you go. Go check them out. Support what Harley Davidson's doing. Any opportunity you have to support other humanitarian efforts. Next story comes in from Dealer News. Operation Ranch Rebuild, talking about humanitarian efforts and doing some good. This is so badass. I'm so glad we get to talk about this here. It's hard to believe it's been 8 months since the incredible tragic disaster hit Humphreys County and left tremendous loss in its wake. But from the moment it happened, it's been our mission to be a leader in the recovery efforts of Loretta Lynn's Ranch in the community of Waverly, said Tim Cotter, event director, MX Motorsports. Since then, we've rallied motocross community to come together to benefit of those who need our help most, and have raised more than $350,000 through our Racers for Waverly fundraising initiative with Road to Recovery Foundation. Now the time has come to put all this goodwill into action, bring forth Operation Ranch Rebuild as the next step of this process. Not only will we bring a team in excess of 60 selfless individuals to help us bring the ranch back to life, but we'll also begin the process of donating money to raise to individuals, families, and small businesses within Waverly. This is awesome. When you think about, not just the surrounding community there, because the community's been part of all of this for the entire history of it, but we talked about this time and time again when we're doing reports from the Tennessee Music and Motorcycle Revival. There would hardly be the motorcycle culture that there is today without Loretta Lynn's Ranch. I mean, if
Oh, how many careers got started there?
Oh, geez.
everybody who was anyone in motocross came through that ranch.
At one point or
You know,
another,
and-
yeah.
And I mean, that's still, I'll say this, like when you go to a local district race and you see a dad with his Harley shirt on and he's got a little kid in front of him that he's launching on a district race, you understand where passion begins for motorcycling. And this is part of it. This is a very big part of it. So to see that they're doing that work, I commend them.
And so nice for them to give back, you know. That ranch has helped a lot of people.
Absolutely. So Heather's going to take this last news brief that's also coming in from Dealer News. This is
Why do you do this
Women
to
in
me?
Motorsports dumps the clutch.
Oh boy.
Hold on, I'm not ready.
Diversity is a fact, equity is a choice, inclusion is an action, belonging is an outcome. Founded on these pillars, the Women in Motorcycle North American, WIMNA, has been launched as a community of professionals supporting opportunities for women across all disciplines of motorsports. By creating an inclusive, resourceful environment, the 501c3 charity looks to foster mentorship, advocacy, education, and growth to help ensure a successful and effective future for women in professional motorsports roles.
That kind of almost sounds like my weekend, but my weekend involves wine and
How about
just saying.
how about
there
Heather?
are some similarities there between that and MWW. I'm just saying.
Did she say Mad Dog 2020? Is that what she just said?
No.
I think she just said Mad Dog.
The outreach includes Steffi Bau, first woman to ever win every round of the WMA National Championship in 1999. Her career led to 7 Italian National Championships, 5 U.S. National Championships, and 3 Women World Championships. And she is currently CEO of Init Esports. Join the likes of Lynn St. James, Beth Peretta, and Steffi Bau at womeninmotorcycles.com. Heather will put that link up. I can't believe that you're actually the one that's coming off the rails tonight, Heather. I'm so surprised at you. So surprised at you.
Oh,
So,
usually it's me, so I'm happy.
I totally did not come off the rails. I was just saying there are some slight similarities between that and MWW. That's all I was saying.
There she goes to that Mad Dog 2020 thing.
So our last news brief, we actually talked about it for a second there when we talked about Masha, one of the artists from Tankful, but this comes in from our own Cycle Source magazine news web. You can check that out at cyclesource.com. If you haven't heard of Tankful, this is something that we're super proud of Heather for doing. Heather launched this initiative. Everyone deserves a full tank. This is pretty bitchin'. The Smokeout Rally with Ed Kerr, founding member of the Hamsters, is proud to introduce Tankful. Just because someone has successfully reached the status of senior citizen doesn't mean that they live carefree days. In 2019, 5.6 million seniors struggled with food insecurity. Many of them, 63%, have to make the difficult choice between filling their bellies or their prescription. No one wants to think of their grandmother that always had cookies at the ready, sitting quietly wondering if she'll have a dinner, let alone a sweet treat. No son or daughter wants to realize that their mom, who had dinner on the table every night after baseball or dance class, may not have had a meal for themselves in days. The dad that took you fishing to catch Sunday supper would be grateful for a simple can of tuna. These are the people that guided us through, helped many of us reach our goals, and would more likely share what little they had instead of see a child go without. Now it's their turn to be looked after and given a hand up. Heather, explain a little bit what Tankful is going to do.
So what we've done is we have 20 artists now that have signed on to paint a tank that's being donated by Paco Parts. And the artists, I'm not leaking them out one at a time. I was just too excited. So they're all on the website, but they include the likes of Christian Baina, Steve Gibson, Robert Pradke, Scott Takis, Mo Diaz, Darren McCaig. Both Perowitz have signed on. James Patience, Eric Malotke, and I'm sorry, remember all of them off the top of my
Ronnie
head.
Tanetti.
Thank you, Ronnie Tanetti. Casey Kennel from the Paint Shop. But all world-class painters have stepped up to donate their skills and their talent to donate to paint a tank for Tankful. They will all be on display in the Legends Gallery at Smokeout. where after the fact they will be available for an online auction. And we did an online
Actually,
auction.
that auction's going to go live during Smokeout too, right?
Yes. Actually, the second I post the first picture, the auction will be live. But we did the online auction. Number one, I want to try and raise as much money as possible so I can put food in people's bellies. But I want it to be available nationwide. If somebody isn't fortunate enough to come to the smokeout but would like to participate, I wanted them to have that option. So they'll be available for an online auction, and all of the proceeds, every penny that is raised, will go directly to Meals on Wheels. We are going to split it between Rowan County, which is where Smokeout is, and we're going to be sending some money to Spearfish Meals on Wheels. Spearfish is a big community in South Dakota, but their whole budget for Meals on Wheels last year was $8,000.
Yeah.
They're working with $8,000 to feed their community, and that's just not enough. So I know that if anybody in my family was at that age and needed it, I would want them to have those resources. So
pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm getting there, so I'm looking forward to it.
Right? I mean, you're right around the corner.
I'm right there.
Hey, listen, I got news for you though, baby. Like, I'm gonna be in charge of your food delivery when you get to that age, and it's gonna be more like meals out the window. So don't look for Meals on Wheels. The meal will be getting there on wheels.
You think I'm still gonna be talking to you that long, boy? That ain't happening.
We're out of other people. Get over it.
You do have a point there. Hey, I keep telling him, like, he's come through this a long way, and so sad for him that I'm all he's got left. So if you guys think it's rough, you ought to be over here in his shoes every once in a while. I just to let you guys know, all Ians out there that try and get a hold of him, I don't answer the phone when he calls me, just to piss him off.
Wow. Hey, look,
you know what I mean?
Jim Fletcher, can I do a tank and donate it to the cause? I buy the tank and drop it off the weekend of Smokeout. Absolutely, Radar. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do want to throw this out there too, and I have I know it's not good to have goals set when you're doing a fundraiser, but I have a certain goal in mind that if I reach it, anything above and beyond that, I am going to donate to food pantries, because I know there are food insecure people, and I want to make sure kids have that option too. So we're going to spread the love as much as we can through this.
Yep. Good stuff. So that's the news. We're going to take a quick second here and check out a cool feature bike. You guys are going to dig this. It's one from the Klein Collection. After that, we'll take a quick break and be back on the other side with more Shop Talk. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Shop Talk in the Dennis Kirk studio. Out of Focus is brought to you by Garage Build. Submit your build, share your passion. Powered by Dennis Kirk.
It's a 1912 Indian single. It's a Handy Indian made by Hedstrom Manufacturing, Springfield, Illinois. The significance of this motorcycle is twofold. Number one, it's all original paint, original patina. In my 35 years of playing with vintage pre-15 motorcycles, I've never found a motorcycle that has this much original paint on it. This motorcycle was pulled out of a barn in Montana, and all that happened was the spider webs and the mud daubers and the dirt was blown off of it. It's not been washed, it's not been cleaned. The other significant thing is, in the history of Indian motorcycles, there were only 150 belt-driven Indians ever produced. Now, I can't verify this, but in talking to serious Indian collectors around the world, we believe that there's only about 12 examples that have leather belts on them remaining in the world. It's just a really significant bike. It runs well, motor's strong. Typically, these motors don't have a lot of hours or a lot of miles on them. People made short trips. Didn't use them since this was in Montana. It obviously had a short riding season, so we think that's why it survived. And we hope you enjoy it today. It's a piece of leather. Put that on the rear hub, so when you're riding it, it keeps all the mud off the hub. That is to keep the front spring from squeaking on the rod. It works. There's your bell crank. And follow the linkage down. That's your compression release. Tightens the belt. It's your oil plunger. Here's your clutch.
Hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm in the garage today working on the Dennis Kirk Garage Build FXR Evolution. What is that? It's a performance-based FXR that we're going to build throughout the year. At the end, you're going to have a chance to win it at Sturgis. Go to DennisKirkGarageBuild.com for more information and stay tuned to see how this thing comes together.
Whether riding takes you from A to B or just lets you escape, there's a flow to the road you share. So go with it. Eyes open and always have the Law Tigers by your side. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, visit us at lawtigers.com. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Proven performance is not some sort of empty slogan or marketing catchphrase, but a way of thinking, a mantra, and something we've practiced every day of the week for the last 6 decades. Designed, manufactured, and tested in the heartland of America. On and off the track, S&S Cycle is the first choice in power sports performance.
Okay, welcome back to the Dennis Kirk studio. We're here with Shop Talk. It always feels so good.
What was that?
It always feels so good to end the Sunday evening and get ready for a new week with a beautiful delivery of motorcycle.
Root beer float?
That's right.
Seriously?
Mark's promising root beer floats at the end of the show.
Going home.
Did all that pine sap go to your brain?
No,
I don't
listen.
know, but let me say something about that Indian. Like, it's amazing that the craftsmanship and everything.
Dude.
Watching that. I have a 2010 Lincoln Navigator that is the biggest piece of shit on the planet, and this guy is showing us a bike from way back there, and everything works. Like,
Yep.
that was having some pride in what you did back
That's
then.
it.
You know what I mean?
That's
Right?
What the hell happened to
You know
that?
what? You know what happened, man? Ravenous capitalism. We started making it more important to make money or make a good quarterly report for investors than what it was we made ourselves as companies.
This world is so effed up. Everybody should take a look at that bike and look at what pride's all about.
Yep.
It totally blows me away. What a piece of machinery that is.
Oh, it was incredible.
And he has some great stuff to offer.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
dude, everything that he has.
If you're not familiar, when I said that was from the Klein Collection, Steve Klein,
Man.
who was the chapter president of the Cherokee chapter of AMCA when we first met him. I think when we first met him or shortly thereafter.
Yes.
But he has a company called Sierra Madre and does concierge service for people that are looking for, rare and unusual motorcycles like that, antique and vintage stuff. We're going to have a lot more of his bikes on, and actually that's part of our show tonight because we spent a lot of time with Steve and the Cherokee people down in
Fandango.
in Fandango. But before we get to that, we're going to let's start with the last thing that we checked out in Daytona, because Daytona was nuts. I think on one of our last shows we talked a little bit about Daytona. We talked about Sons of Speed. While we were in Daytona, we got to witness the birth of a entirely new project, a new brand from Billy Lane, and this was a little thing, man. I think is really gonna set the standard. Let's go check out Cool Hand Motorcycles.
Hey, I'm Billy Lane from Choppers Inc., but more recently of Cool Hand Speed Co. This is a new venture that I'm bringing out to you in the motorcycle world. I'm building a limited production run of 50 of these motorcycles. They're all hand serialed, so this is the number 00 off my prototype, and let me tell you about what these bikes are. So I have a 1941 Crocker that no one can afford, and even if they could afford it, they can't buy it because there's no supply. They only made about 60 Crockers. So this is a bike that mimics my Crocker physically, and also was along the lines of what Al Crocker was doing in the 30s and 40s, doing overhead valve conversions on flatheads, because back then the only motorcycles out there were flatheads, and he was doing overhead valve conversions to them to make horsepower, to make them fun to ride. So I'm using Harley Davidson and Indian 74 cubic inch bottom ends, flathead bottom ends, and handmade overhead valve conversions, ductile iron cylinders, with an iron head and an overhead valve open rocker conversion. All still going to be 74 cubic inches. They probably make 65 to 70 horsepower. So really fun to ride for a light bike like this. Everything comes with a clean title, whether it's an Indian or Harley. So if you bought one that was based on a 46 Indian, then that's what you're going to have on your title, is 1946 Indian. Number one is already sold, but if you bought number one, it'll have number one on the tank badges. There'll be a metal tank badge. Number one hand tooled into the leather seat. Number one on the handmade rocker boxes and on the neck badge. The bike's a real short wheelbase, 19-inch Kelsey Hayes wheels, like what they put on an Indian, Harley Davidson VL or Knucklehead from the 30s and 40s. Replica Harley Davidson 4-speed transmission. Kickstart only, but don't worry about it. These things will start really, really easy, idle smooth. They'll run cool. Really, really cool Druid-style girder front fork. Flanders, handlebars, everything's reminiscent of the 40s and 50s bobber style. This is something I've wanted to do for over 20 years. Lucky enough to get to that point in my career where I can actually do it. I'm allowing people, when they buy one, to say, for example, if you want number 13, you can choose bike number 13 if it's still available. We had a couple who bought one, they wanted number 27, so we sold them number 27. I'm really, really excited about it. I hope you are too. You're gonna ride this, you can pull up, and there can be beautiful knuckleheads or panheads there, and you're still gonna have the coolest bike at the show, at the rally, wherever you pull up, because it's handmade, it's Cool Hand Speed Co., it's Billy Lane.
Dope.
Yeah,
Dope.
he always brings it to the table.
Well, and we put a piece in the magazine this month, and I can't remember if this made it to the edit portion or not, but all the years of Billy, like he kind of had a secret love affair for vintage and antique stuff. You know, while he was building all the most memorable choppers that you ever saw, he was collecting parts and doing all the antique bike stuff. And it's so good to see things like Sons of Speed. Sons of Speed is really taken off like crazy. Him having the time to do something like this. I mean, imagine 10 years from now, 15 years from now, like that time. Yeah.
And there's a guy, another one that appreciates the culture so much that he's trying to go back to where it had heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's a big factor too.
So that was one of our other Daytona highlights. But let's move into, so from Daytona we went to
Back Here Ruined My Life.
Oh no, we went to Donnie Smith, where it was cold as hell.
Oh my God, it was like 3 degrees.
But
what a great show.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
buddy. So this was another one of those shows that, bouncing back from COVID, they didn't know until almost the minute that you would have to make a decision whether you were going to do the show or not. This dude, I got an interview with Brian here in front of this motorcycle. It's going to blow your mind. It was so cool. So cool to see that bike there. That bike has more history than both of us standing in front of it. But, you know, it came back with an absolute fever. Everyone was so excited to be back at the Donnie Smith show. And, you know, all the questions were answered there inside that show hall. So
it was such a good show. And we hadn't been in 5 years.
Yeah. Yep.
Obviously, they hadn't had it in a couple thanks to COVID.
Drew said it heated up all the way to 3 above.
Oh,
that's no shit.
Awful.
That's no shit. Hey, so while we were there, though, we got the opportunity to go to Dennis Kirk World Headquarters and do stuff with the
cool.
with the FXR and products and stuff you're going to see come out. Like, what a pleasure working with those guys, huh? Like, we actually got to see for a little bit, Heather, what it was like to have
be professional.
Yeah, to have a professional crew. It was so nice.
It was such a nice treat.
Don't be counting on that around here.
I know.
Do you know what one of my favorite things about St. Paul was? And I didn't put any pictures in.
Oh, so seriously?
Silly. I didn't, and I should have.
We found out when we first got there.
The peanuts are from St. Paul.
Yeah.
So when you go around the city, they have statues and sculptures everywhere. I tried really hard to steal 1 or 2, but Chris wouldn't let me.
Yeah, it was nice. But, you know, again, like having the staff like that and working with professionals, what we found ourselves doing most, Mark, was trying to do stuff. Like, we were like, well, here, we'll get that. And they're like, no, you guys just, we got this. You're good.
Well, hell, I should have been there.
But I don't know if they've aired it yet. Chris filmed a commercial for them while he was there. It is so good. I cannot wait to see it all
It's going to be
together.
Funny.
And he had so much fun with it. It was great.
So yeah, we had a hell of a show, and again, you know, we got tons of features that are going to come out. It was Donnie's 80th birthday,
right?
And the party was great. Whoever was in charge of the production, they did a ceremony the night of his party, and it was really, really well done, really well thought out.
I loved the diversity of the bikes that they had at the Donnie Smith show. There was truly something for everyone.
Yeah. Yep.
Every configuration you could imagine was represented in that show hall, which was really great.
You know, Mark, we've always said for years that if we were going to make a national shows circuit, we would base it on Donnie Smith because there's a little bit of industry kind of show like the old Cincinnati V-Twin. There's a little bit of what used to be the Easy Rider bike shows. Yeah. There's a little bit of just, you know, down-home swap meet.
Yeah, I think that area up there, it all comes out. I mean, that area is so deep in automotive and motorcycle and machinery culture. Yep. You know, it just pours out of everything.
You know, one of the things that struck me the most about how much people enjoy that show, Mark, both nights when they closed the show hall, they literally had to shoo hundreds of people.
Sure. It was
out.
unbelievable. Like how many shows have you been?
You never
with
go
me?
to a convention
Yeah.
center show.
Nope.
It's crickets
at
by
7
the end.
o'clock.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
we're usually we used to do them and would be sleeping in the booth by 8 o'clock. You want to
No,
see?
not here.
Is
They were
our-
literally like, "Hey, lights are going out. Get out!"
Yeah.
Because there were still hundreds of people there. It was great.
His our line was, if you wanted to see the dead come to life, be there whenever the show closed and the bar opened. So
that was from Mark's lead sled years.
Oh, I don't know. Who are you kidding? You were right there bellying up with us.
Oh,
I like the way you try and pass it all like I was the bad guy.
Speaking of that, I can't believe we didn't include that in the news.
What?
Lead Sled Sportster Showdown.
Yeah. How about that?
How did I screw the pooch on that
Oh,
one?
sweet Jesus.
Well, Heather.
It's Pat Patterson, you know. You know what I'm saying.
So go ahead, news girl.
So, Pat Patterson and Lead Sled crew have decided to do a Sportster Showdown at Smokeout this year.
Yep.
I don't think
Very exciting.
They really didn't have a choice, but it's okay. I'm glad he agreed.
Hey, so listen, Brother Jeff called me the other day, and I hope he's watching
I love
right
Brother
now.
Jeff.
He
and
is
his wife.
he is the sweetest human being
Yes,
in the
he
world.
is.
So he calls up and he goes, "Hey man," he said, "what are you gonna be doing the week before Smokeout?" And I said, "Well, probably living in Salisbury at the Rowan County Fairgrounds, getting ready for Smokeout." And he said, "Yeah, that's what I figured." He said, "I'm just going to go ahead and come down there and live with you for that week." He said, "I figure you need another hand." He said, "Probably just be you and Mark and Heather there." So he said, "You want me to bring some tools?"
Yeah, we already had that
Yes.
conversation. Well, I've already dedicated the flat broke trailer solely to a rolling wood shop. So we've already said if anybody that we're going with or anything needs hauled down there, they're going to have to find a way to get it there because that trailer's going to be full of
Wood
working
Right.
tools.
Yep.
So there will be
I
no
know.
motorcycles in that trailer.
I know Chris and I are like, we're going to have to make a couple of trips
Yeah, we're
back
gonna have
and
to make
forth.
4
How are we
trips.
going to do this?
Between mini bikes and full-size motorcycles.
Yeah,
It's gonna
And
be
campers
ridiculous.
and yada, yada, yada.
Oh, man.
it's going to be nuts.
All the stuff that
It's
we're
gonna be
talking
worth
about
it.
with Smokeout will be, you can follow it on the Smokeout's social media or Cycle Source. We're adding to the smokeoutrally.com daily, but it's, it takes us a minute. We'll get it all up there, but super appreciate Pat from Lead Sled. And I don't know if I can officially say that he has a sponsor for that show yet, but it's a big deal. So we'll talk about that in weeks to come.
It's odd because anybody that knows me, I'm never looking forward to an event. I'm looking forward to the Smokeout. So shit's going to go down there.
So from Minnesota, we moved on to, and not that we were happy to leave Minnesota or the Donnie Smith show, but we were happy to get back down south where it was warm, and we moved down to the Texas Fandango in Fredericksburg, Texas, which, man, did they kick it too.
Oh my God.
So
I had a feeling it was going to be good, but it far exceeded my expectations.
Yep.
It really did.
The thing about this is we've said year after year that, even though we're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I know my Allegheny chapter guys are going to hate me saying this again, but we belong to the Cherokee chapter all the way in Texas because the first time I ever met these guys, it was all the way back at the Pate swap meet, and I rolled in on a 49 Panhead, and they treated me just like I was there on a 100-point bike. And I started to see that their attitude towards chopper guys and younger people coming around, they were very, very welcoming and accommodating, and we wanted to be part of that. And the proof of that recipe couldn't have been more clear as what we saw at the Texas Fandango, because
Oh my gosh.
from everything from vintage and antique dirt bikes to flat track racers to the chopper corral and chopper drag races. Look, there's Heather almost getting her ass tagged by Dan.
So, and if anybody's keeping record, this was probably about day 9 that I had no sleep. Just trying to keep everybody updated on what was going on here. Well,
Oh,
Listen, if I heard
Poor Mark.
one more person reach out and go, "Heather, oh my God, are you okay?" I'm like, Dude, look at how
yeah, I'm fine.
look at how she's hamming it up for the camera.
Did you get Dan the check to try and run her over? I mean, it isn't his fault that it didn't work out, you know?
Oh,
Hamming it up. But yeah, man.
hamming it up. That was a close call.
Choppers,
I gotta admit, that
like-
was a close call.
We slept in the van like tramps. It was great.
Yeah, but you know, I really can't even say that was roughing it because yes, we did sleep in the van. It was not the most comfortable deal, but we had TV, we had our snacks. It was good.
We met this young guy, him and his dad. This was his first build, Mark. We did a whole feature on it, but you know, out of everybody there were some of the most incredible motorcycles, and for some reason, as soon as I saw this kid and his dad, I was just like, that's a Cycle Source bike. Yeah. Not because, you know, it's a pretty traditional chopper and everything, but I knew there was going to be some kind of cool story, and little did I know, you know, first build, his old man was so proud he looks like he was going to explode, you know.
Oh, I know. It was so great.
There's Dan coming at Heather. There's the actual footage right there, Mark. That's the shot that she almost gave
money,
so much for.
That's the money shot.
Oh yeah, we had dinner with Kiwi and James from Tucker.
Oh, Kiwi. I love him.
It was a great weekend. It really was. And each year they're working so hard to expand upon it and make it better and better. And the Gillespie County Fairgrounds, what a beautiful facility. It's really worth the trip to Texas.
They're really lucky because you have to have good partners to have an event.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we've had good and bad with BMR, good in the beginning, bad at different places that we went, but it makes all the difference in the world. You know, that's one of our strongest deals with coming to Salisbury is the people there, from the government, the hotels, the police, the fairgrounds operators. Couldn't be happier that we're coming there, and that's what it takes, man. And I mean, Cherokee chapter really has a strong partner with Gillespie.
Yeah, nothing worse than being in a town that doesn't want you there.
Oh my God!
You know, it makes it really hard to.
That was the very last BMR. After that, we had to go in front of the local
council or
constabulary.
The town wanted us there, and the town's people wanted us there.
Yeah.
The people that owned the property just got greedy and wanted more money.
The pricks on the board.
Yeah.
The people on the board liked us. They were on our side.
Made us stand there like criminals and explain ourselves.
Oh my God.
Which we do really well.
I said to the one dude, I said, "Hey man," I said, "Listen," because they were like, what we're afraid of is the economic impact that an event like this, as it grows, will have on our community. And I said, "Listen, we're not trying to get any more people." And the guy stopped me and he goes, "Mr. Callan," he said, "do you really expect me to believe that you don't want more people to show up at your event?" And I held up a magazine and the ad said, "Don't tell anybody, it's really not that good."
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just another way for the man to hold us down.
But you know, the sad thing is, you know, 2 years after we left, because everybody, like, we were just in a little 4-H campground. There were no stores. You had to go into town for everything. Like, the one convenience store in town shut down.
Yeah, closed.
Yep.
After that, like,
you got to feel real good about
sad.
yourself, Heather. Real good.
Hey,
Son of a biscuit eater.
Did you press that button?
what? You just said something because you knew my earpiece fell out.
No. But now that I know
crush.
that that's the sign.
No, sir. Yeah, right.
All right, so moving on from
You're
there,
impossible.
we had a quick little jaunt over to Arizona for Arizona Bike Week. Actually, we started off in Winslow, Arizona, with all the guys from the FXR Friends Throwdown.
We stood on the corner.
We did. We actually stood on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, Mark, and did the whole goofy.
But was there a flatbed Ford?
Yes.
Yes.
Was there? All right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Not only do they
There
have
absolutely
like
was.
an old 48 flatbed Ford parked right there, they have the same Ford painted on the wall with the big Winslow sign.
Yeah, you'd have to at least have one drive-by. If not, you got to go back. So.
Yep. So we did that. Rode with a pack of maniacs that call themselves the FXR Friends in excess of 100 miles an hour through the canyons all the
there
way
were
to
no breaking
Scottsdale.
miles. Hey, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Lori from the Motor Palace Mercantile for letting us invade
Yeah.
her beautiful, beautiful building, which also turned out to be her home, for
And we
us
had
to
no
film that
idea.
FXR Friends Throwdown episode. But
It-
what a cool place! If you guys go to Winslow, you have to check out her spots.
yeah, this was the spot when we got there in the morning to set up. If you guys missed the episode where we did the all FXR Friends roundtable, it was bitchin'. And it was because this woman let us totally invade her space all day long to set up. And we didn't know, like, I think Yaffe told us, he was like, hey, I got this really bitchin' space. Call Lori. She's going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And we called, we're like, hey, okay, we'll be down a little bit. And we show
She's
up
like,
and
sure.
we're loading in equipment and everything. And when Yaffe called back, he said, you guys get set. And we're like, yeah, we're in here now. And he's like, well, which spot are you in? And we told him, and he goes, dude, I think that's her home. And I was like, oh my God.
Moving in.
But the place was awesome, and she was probably one of the coolest ladies I've
Yeah.
had the opportunity to meet
Yeah.
in a long, long time. Like, she was so awesome. So go visit her website, motorpalacemercantile.com, or better yet, if you're in Winslow or going by there, make sure you stop in and tell them that we sent you, because she's super rad, and so is
Yeah.
her place.
Good people. This is a really neat thing for people on the East Coast or in the Midwest that have never been this far west. What you're seeing are shadows on Superstition Mountain, and there is only one short time in the year where this phenomenon happens. This giant mountain lion chases this rabbit down the mountain and eventually catches him.
It's the coolest thing ever.
Dude, listen, people have told me about this before. It is nothing like standing there watching this thing happen, because like I'm sitting here telling you now, like surprised, like it literally comes out of the mountain and chases this rabbit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, amazing how you always say, oh, picture doesn't do it any justice.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
It-
true
yeah.
in
standing
so
there.
many places.
And then this is where I have to say Jack shit is a son of a bitch, because he can sit on his porch and watch that.
Right. And I have to say, I'm still kind of mad at Chris for making me leave, because that place is, I love it there.
Yeah,
It's
his-
awesome.
his
It's
place
a
is a
toss up now
paradise.
between that part of Arizona and Texas Hill Country.
This was the FXR Friends roundtable. Jim Fletcher said, great show, love the camaraderie. It was a really, really good show. Great to be with all those people. This was on the corner of Winslow, and look, in the background is the
Yeah.
flatbed Ford, as advertised.
I would have drove right by that crew. I wouldn't even slow down.
So that was our trip up to the point of Arizona and the FXR show. Arizona Bike Week, dude. What a hidden gem. Like, we had heard things back and forth for years. There was a big money event and all of this, and we knew some really good people that were involved in it. And, obviously Jack and the Dirty Dog and the guy that he works for there, Jack, and we heard about all of this. But, once we finally got there and got on site, like, what a blast and what a good thing. So they made a couple changes this year where they separated the concert venue, because they have some serious, like, national
Big
level
name,
concerts.
yeah.
So as you can imagine, it'd be
Oh.
hard to keep that. It would keep that, what?
No, I was saying, like, way national level
Oh, yeah.
concerts.
Yeah, like this time they had Rob Zombie,
Leonard Skinner
Leonard Skinner, Social Distortion.
and Social Distortion.
But, they split it up this time. So you could actually pay for a weekend pass to go
Yeah.
just to the motorcycle stuff and see Wall of Death and free concerts. And Jay Allen was working. Yaffe's Baddest Bagger. We had a show there. Stunt shows. Like, it was a good time.
I want to thank everyone in Arizona for coming out, because whenever you do a show for the first time in
Yeah.
a new place, you always are like, man, is anybody going to show up? Is this going to bomb? We had like 75 to 80 bikes show up for our bike show. I felt
Oh, yeah.
so blessed that day, and it was just so awesome.
And dude, it was the greatest shit, because it was everything from performance, like Dynas and Baggers
we had a
and FXR.
1929 Harley.
Yeah, 1929 Harley. Jason Sims came out with some old bikes. We had an old
Yes.
guy show up on a knucklehead. You would have thought he was Brother Speed in training. And dude, He got that bike off the trailer and started kicking. He said, "What's a goddamn?" And he must have been like 82 or something. And he was like, "It's a goddamn ride-in bike show." He said, "If I can't ride it in, I'm not showing it."
He got it going though, and he wrote it in.
Good for him.
I think he had one too many cold
He
ones
got
that might have pushed it out though.
He got a buzz on partway through the day and was kind of giving some direction to his significant other.
Yeah, it was a great show.
I think he wanted her to go up. I'm just saying.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
It was an outstanding show, and everyone in Arizona was awesome. The people at Jack's Hangout, Dirty Dog, were very welcoming.
That place is a hoot. That place is a hoot. It is the Arizona equivalent of Fantasies when you and I used to work it back in the day.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah, it was a trip. It was a trip.
Yeah.
So
it was great though.
All of these things, we have full video reports coming out. Tons of footage to get through. So you guys will have to excuse us for not having that ready here. Heather, I just want to make sure you saw the comment that Drew said his neighbor's house is coming up for sale. He's just saying,
hey, I'm down. You have to convince Chris. I will move tomorrow.
Hey, do you know a piece of the news that we shot right past on the way in today?
Uh-oh.
What?
Did you guys see this video of Jeremy McWilliams from the S&S Indian race team? Check this out. So anyone that says shit about what these guys are doing at Moto America's King of the Baggers or the BRL, that dude's hauling ass when he laid that thing over. And listen, my man is 58 years old. That rides for the S&S Indian, got up from that and then went back. It didn't say whether he was on another bike or that bike and qualified for the hooligan class.
I don't know, but after that, he ran to check the bike out. I'd be still laying there waiting for him to bring me a glass of water.
He should have been checking for pieces of himself, for Christ's sake.
Mark would have been laying there like, is it broken?
Oh, well.
Is it broken? I don't know. Somebody, where's my root beer float?
Yeah, I was just going to say, all I'd want was my root beer float.
So Ashley Woodford said they got it running.
Wow,
dude. That's a bad dude. 58 years old, Mark.
You're not shit.
He took that shit like a champ.
I cut the grass and had to go lay down today, you know?
Jesus. All right, man. Well, listen, you guys are watching Shop Talk in the Dennis Kirk studio. We appreciate you being here with us. We're going to go and check out a tech tip, come back on the other side, and we're going to start talking about some of the events you'll see us at next. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Shop Talk. Shop Talk Tech Tips are brought to you by S&S. Proven performance for the power sports industry.
Xavier again with Providence Cycle Worx. So you saw the Ramjet conversion kit that we introduced as a new product. So today I'm going to show you what that product is for. Now there's a lot of little pieces in there and you're probably wondering where do they all go. Well, that's what we're going to find out. So in that kit comes brand new cross members. What those cross members allow you to do is, because now that we're running a 94 FLT transmission, the oil pan is at the bottom. So we have to get rid of these to allow space for the pan to sit mounted up underneath the transmission. So these cross members have to be cut out, as well as the stock oil tank tab. Now, what this piece does is they provide you with an actual plate that covers this entire thing. So you have this nice seamless look instead of having a bunch of like open area here where the actual stock oil bag would go. So those cross members have to be welded in. What they actually do is what these do. They actually add the strength and the support and the rigidity that the frame needs. This build is going to have a 111 S&S in it, so it's going to have a little bit of power, which is going to be fun. So the kit has 3 cross members. It has 1, 2, and in the back there's a round bar that you can, as an option, put on or not. Most of the guys that have done this have used the back piece because it literally strengthens the rear end, because it's going to be a pretty decent sized motor. It's not a little 74 cube pan. We're going to have some power, so we want to make sure that everything that's transferred to this frame, it stays the way it needs to be. So there's a lot of cutting and a lot of welding that's involved. It is best to have something to hold the frame sturdy. This happens to be a rotisserie frame, which, since we're cutting a lot of stuff out, when we go back to weld it, you want to make sure that you have the best accessibility to lay a good penetrating weld, because again, your body is on this motorcycle that's attached and held together with a bunch of this stuff with a big motor in it. So we need to be as safe as we possibly can. So the actual mount comes as well with brand new Dyna mounts. The Dyna mounts and the FXR mounts are just a little bit different, but they are different. So everything is in that kit in order for you to run an FLT style transmission and have a seamless look under your seat, as well as a really strong frame. Highly suggested from the owner himself. If you're not sure about the welding on it, please, please, please get with somebody who can handle the welding, because it is your safety and your life on this motorcycle. So I highly suggest that as well. So in the next couple of episodes, we'll get into the cutting and we'll get into the placement, the tack welding, before we do the final welding, because you want to do everything tacked up first before you go in and start laying massive amounts of heat in this thing, because this frame is going to want to tweak. It's going to want to pull and it's going to want to push depending on how you weld this. Once again, definitely emphasize getting with somebody who has a good knowledge of welding. And chances are, if you're seeing this, you probably know somebody. So don't be one of those guys who's too proud to ask. Can't ask you for help, bro. No, ask for help, man, because we don't want anybody getting hurt. So until next time, Xavier with Providence Cycle Worx. You're watching Torque.
Hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine's Grease and Gears TV, and this is your product spotlight. Today we're taking a look at the hard-body gloss black Springer. So anybody building these bikes, you know, when you're looking for that vintage style, whether you're doing vintage reproduction or you're doing something that's bobber, you know, the origin of the bobber started with, you know, bobbing stock motorcycles. So when you get to wanting a Springer front end for that, having the ability to have a part like this that's modeled after what the front ends would have looked like. You know, a replacement, of course you're going to get all the quality with the upgraded parts and components, but it's going to look like your vintage part, you know, and that's why I love this so much. It comes in the same length as your vintage Springer would, and everything you're going to mount to it, it's all going to be the same, and you're still going to have the look of what that bike would have rolled out with.
For more information on the products shown in this video, click on the link in the description box below. Feel free to call us with any questions or place an order at 800-969-7501. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, share, and subscribe.
Hey, this is Chris and Heather with Smokeout. Smokeout is going back to Salisbury, the original Rowan County Fairgrounds. The reason why we signed on after 2 decades of this event going on and seeing 2 generations of chopper jockeys come out of it, we wanted to be here for another generation. We're having a thing called the Legacy Invitational. Let's ask some of the Smokeout OGs, guys like Paul Cox, Billy Lane, Jeff Cochran, Steve Broyles, Donnie Luce,
Pat Patterson,
Bill Dodd, to come in and set up. And we've also assigned them the task of inviting a legacy builder, either newer builder or someone that's new to Smokeout, to bring in as their legacy.
From what I understand, the people made this event.
Yeah.
Like, you guys made this event, and that's what we want to bring back.
Smokeout's back. We're going back a few steps. Rowan County Fairgrounds. Tell your friends Smokeout is going back to Salisbury. We'll see you in September of 22.
You better get to work.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm with Banks Brothers Motorcycles. One of the things I want to show you today is our new improved engine puller.
The changes to this machine has been in the arms and in the hands. We put heim joints in the hand to allow rotation of the engine, which makes it easier to get it in and out of the frame. With the angle change, we have equal clamping pressure on them. And over here we have what's called the posi lock, which allows this to be locked in place and the engine can't swing from side to side.
And we're going to show you just how easy it is to pull the motor out of the bike right now. George is actually going to come in make contact with the cylinders, tighten it down, you're gonna pull it out of there.
You lift it up, rotate it, and bring the assembly out of the frame. You see the motor starting to move, and it centers itself. This allows no side play once the motor's in place, and it keeps it safe. It can't fall out.
Visit BanksBrothersMotorcycles.com to order your Banks lift.
This is Rick from RKB, and you're watching Shop Talk.
All right, man.
Okay. Just for the record, I
Wait a
didn't
minute.
spill the beans on the Legends Invitational. If anybody watched the commercial we've been playing for the last 6 months, you did.
It said we are asking. I'm just saying.
Oh, boy.
I'm just saying.
Not
I'm just
hating.
saying,
I'm not
no,
hating.
I'm not owning
Just
that.
saying.
You did it. Mm-mm.
So, hey, man, a couple events that we got coming up that we should talk about here. The Myrtle Beach Spring Bike Week is right around the corner. May 13th to the 22nd, you can actually catch us on the front porch of Suck Bang Blow for the first part of that. We're going to be doing double duty for Smokeout. We're going to have the Smokeout booth there, and then split from there probably Wednesday, I think, and we're headed over to the Tennessee Motorcycle Music event. Going to be doing bike games and stuff and have one of the flat broke bikes on display there. So you guys, super honored. Thank you, Bill Dodge, for making us part of the BC Moto Invitational.
Did you see the lineup that SBB has for Spring Rally?
Dude, I know that they're going to have the Rebel Sun guys there.
Which are always entertaining.
Whatever.
Heather's mad because they're only doing limited performances this year.
Well, you know.
We didn't get them.
That is not why I'm mad.
Okay, so hey, we're moving on to the events that you're going to see us at in the future.
Well, two of us now.
So TMMR, we're going to be there, and shortly after that, a week later, Sons of Speed is doing a race in Tennessee. How excited am I?
You're just excited because you're going to actually call the races.
I'm not excited for that part. You got me into that
Why?
shit.
I did not get you into that.
I'm nervous.
There was no way you were getting out of it.
So yeah, Andy,
Am I going to have to separate you two?
I don't know.
Please.
It might come down to it.
Oh, man.
So that's our show for tonight, man. I appreciate you guys hanging on with us. We're a little bit over, but we had a lot of stuff to get through. You can see why we did this as a catch-up show, because we had very little room with all of this stuff. There will be tons of media pouring out from all of these individual events. I promise you, they're working with me on being a better media manager and doing shit like I should be.
Oh, boy. Where's the gunshot there?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Next weekend, we have our guest is the Professional Monkey.
Okay.
Is our guest
How do you
next
get to be a
weekend.
professional monkey?
Well,
We're going to find out. Well, actually, let's just ask you.
Hey. We had a professional monkey here for the last couple of days.
oh, boy. Well,
Yes.
on that
Little
note.
spider monkey.
All right, man. Let's wrap this one up. Time to bring this one off the tracks and back into the station. It's been a hell of a show. Thank you guys for being with us. As long as you keep watching, we'll keep convincing the people from Dennis Kirk's Motorcycle Studio to leave the back door open and let us sneak in every Sunday at 9 p.m. to do another episode of Shop Talk. Until next week, when we hit you in the face with some more of this, tune in, same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Bye, Felicia.
He was here. He said it. We'd like to thank our sponsors for their continued support, and we hope you pay them a visit when you're in the market for great motorcycle parts, products, and events. S&S Cycle, Makuni American, Baco Parts, The Broken Spoke Saloon, Twisted Tea, The Iron Horse Saloon, High Seas Rally, Twisted Choppers, Twin Power, Drag Specialties, Geico, Law Tigers, Tech Cycle, Fueling Parts, Lone Star Rally, Hijinks Apparel, Progressive Insurance, Spectra Oil, No School Choppers, Motion Pro Tools.